Hey guys, it's Deager, and welcome to my Tribes Ascend first look video. This is out about a week later than I wanted to get it out. Sorry about that, guys, but I had a lot of stuff on my plate, a lot of things to do. Anyway, let's get right to it. This is Tribes Ascend. Well, I should say the Tribes Ascend open beta. It was in closed beta for a while. You had to apply for a beta key. Not anymore. You can get a beta key. Well, not a key. You can get into the beta just by signing up, giving your email, and you can get into the game. It's a really great game. It is the I guess the third installment in the Tribes, Tribes games. The most recent one, other than this, being Tribes 2, which was a fantastic game. I love that game. Me and my friends played a lot of that game. And which meant I was really psyched to play this game. It's a first-person shooter mixed with elements of real-time strategy, and it's really cool. In this review, I'm gonna cover a couple things: my opinions on the gameplay, my opinions on the combat system they've been like the classes and all that stuff, the weapons, and then the game in general, the graphics and all that, performance and all that stuff, and then where I think it's going to go, how I would like to see it improved, that sort of thing, those sort of things. So let's get into it. Gameplay. It's really, it's different than a lot of first-person shooters out there right now. You got COD and you got Battlefield 3, and those are great games, but they don't really incorporate, I'm going to call it a fourth dimension, in terms of using, flight. There are, vehicles you can use, especially in Battlefield 3, but there's no real dynamic way of flying, which I think really makes us unique. And not only flight in Tribes Ascend, but there's also a dynamic called skiing, which means you run around, and if you say you go off a hill, you can hold down the space key and ski, which means you're going to pick up speed, go really fast. I'm not very good at it, as you can see, because I was trying to ski on that uphill. Doesn't work. Yeah, so it adds a really fast-paced element to the game, where everyone's moving really fast. You can't really hit them, and what they did with the weapons was made it so everything has a lead. You have to lead your shots, which makes it really take a lot of skill to play, because you can't just point and shoot and kill. You have to, kind of figure out, okay, so he's going to be here. You have to know your weapon, and you have to be able to use it like that. And that gameplay's really cool. You earn points for killing other players, destroying outpost things like the turrets or the generators or the health stations, and repairing things too. So you don't necessarily just have to kill people. You can go for more objective-based gameplay, which I really like to see. Done some other interesting things in making it like it's almost instant respawn, which I really like. Having played Team Fortress 2 for a long time, and this is kind of like a more, larger scale, better graphics version of Team Fortress 2, because it's just non-stop combat, and it's team-based. There's not a really there can be a longer delay in that game. It's only a 3 to 5 second delay after you die, which I think is really great. Gets people back in the game. So that's really it on gameplay specifics. In terms of combat, it's really interesting. You start out with 3 classes. You got a scout class, and that has a light spin fuser and a shotgun. That class, you move really quickly, you don't have a lot of HP, and your weapons aren't really the hardest hitting, but it's really great if you're trying to get somewhere quick, or you're trying to get in, kill somebody, get out, because that's really what that's for. What I like to play, and you can see me playing it here, is the soldier. You have a assault rifle type weapon, and you also have a grenade launcher thumper type weapon. And the third class you start with is a kind of a heavy class. You have a grenade launcher, but it's a kind of a weird grenade launcher. I didn't really like it because it bounces everywhere. And then you also have a heavy spin fuser. I thought the most balanced class is definitely the soldier. I think that's what it was meant to be. But there are also other classes. You unlock more classes as you go. And you just saw a couple seconds ago me getting shot off of my grav cycle by a saber launcher. Sable launcher, I think so. And yeah, those things I think are really the only overpowered weapon in the game. Because they're, if you've ever played James Bond Nightfire on the GameCube, they are very much like seeker missiles, and the ones you can control, because you just fly them into your enemy, and unlike any other weapon in this game, where you have to, all the other weapons where you have to lead up to your enemy, it's really annoying, because no other weapon is like that, it's hard to counter. Especially with the starting classes. Yes, so that's only with that. There are vehicles you can put in, which I thought was, you can buy, I'm sorry, with points you earn. And this is the grab cycle right now. And it's really fast. It's kind of like a warthog or a ghost. Not, a mongoose or a ghost. I'm sorry, not a warthog. And it's a light vehicle. You can't take a lot of damage, as you just saw. You'll get blown up. Doesn't really do a lot of damage, but it's great for getting places really, really fast. And yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. There's also a plane, like a flying vehicle. I didn't get a chance to play that, probably because I couldn't afford it, because I'm not the best at this game. But I did, and then there's also a tank, which the tank I'd like to see buffed up a little bit, because right now a couple guys with spin fusers can blow up your tank very easily, and you'll see that a little bit later. There's some footage of that. Yeah, it's kind of absurd. It's a tank. I think what they were trying to do was make it so that the tank isn't the ultimate, I got, 3,000 points or whatever, and can now, walk through your bullets and never die kind of thing. But what was really, I think, annoying is that you spend all this money on a tank. It's a tank. It shouldn't blow up that quickly. That was kind of my only qualm with that. I have no problems with the grab cycle being really a death machine in terms of you dying, because it's a motorcycle and you're getting shot at. That makes a lot of sense. The other thing is it's a tank. You shouldn't... Yeah, okay, enough of that. Another combat thing, there is a melee. There's a lot of melee in this game. Melee, I'm sorry, I always get yelled at for saying that. And here's the tank, by the way. But I get yelled at for saying melee, but melee weapons, you have like a knife type thing. It's not really used, partly because you're moving so fast. And people are moving so fast, it's really hard to melee. There is kind of a cloaked class. I didn't get to play it. You have to level up a lot more. But yeah, you could probably use it then. But right now, it's not really easy to use. And actually, coming up, like right here, you're going to see the example of getting destroyed by a bunch of people with spin fusers, because it's happening right now. And I exploded. That was like 3 people. It's kind of absurd. It's a tank. It should take a little bit more damage than that. That's just my opinion. Yeah, so enough on combat style. Just the game itself, I really like the graphics in this game. It's really reminiscent of the old Tribes games. Not necessarily in the graphics detail, because it was a very old game, it's not that way, but in terms of how they designed the maps, they're very open, they're very, I'm going to say, exposed, and there's a lot of room to fly around, which is a really big part of the game, which is good. That's a good thing. Yes, so what I didn't like so much about the graphics was that, and understand it's still in beta, so there's probably going to change this, but it seems to take a lot of processing power. I have kind of, my computer's a little silly. It's a little absurd in terms of at a consumer level, but yeah, most people don't have what I have. Not to gloat, but I had problems playing this game. I was playing it. I had to turn it down to medium to get playable frame rates. While frapsing. I understand while frapsing, but, in most games I can turn it down to high if there's an ultra setting and do that. I think what they did is they didn't scale the, they just didn't scale the graphics enough. So Crysis. Everyone knows, Crysis 2, for instance. Everyone knows that Ultra on Crysis 2 looks amazing. It's an amazingly detailed game. The graphics are impeccable. But when you turn it down to high, say you were getting 60 FPS on Ultra, now you're getting 90 FPS. So that's a 50% gain in FPS, which I don't see here. Because let's say, for instance, Cryon, for instance, he doesn't really have the best computer right now, but it's an example of a average Joe's computer, and who's going to try to play a game like this. This isn't really a game. It's a multiplayer game. It's not a really high-end game, but he can't play it. He can't even open it. It just crashes out. You need a discrete graphics card, which a lot of people don't have because that can be expensive. Yeah, so I really want to see them patch that, patch the graphics. I don't want to see them dumb the graphics down. I just want to see them somehow improve the graphics. I know that's hard to do. I know this is still a beta game. Don't yell at me about that. I understand. But, yeah, I really want to see them make sure that people can actually play their game because it's a great game. But I think people are going to be disappointed when they're like, oh, I'm going to play Tribes Ascend. It's going to be fantastic. And then they install it, they spend all the time downloading it, and then the game doesn't work on their computer, and then they're really disappointed and get really angry, like gamers can. I really don't want to see that happen to this game, because this game it's really fun to play. I think a lot of and segueing into my next topic, a lot of games these days have really become, you know, really the same. You see Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, Battlefield 3, which sort of changed the mold, but not enough for me, I don't think. But you're really seeing a lot of the same, and this is a lot of different. That's all I can really say. It's not, you know, point click kill. Like, you actually have to have skill to play. You have to lead your shots, as you can see. I mean, I am a terrible first-person shooter player, but also it is a very difficult game. No doubt about that. But yeah, it's a hard game to play. Yeah, so you're trying to run around trying to shoot things. I think a lot of games need to do this, and the thing I really like about what they're doing with Tribes Ascend is they are only focusing on multiplayer, and I like that. I mean, I have no problem with games that have campaigns, but I do have a problem with games that have campaigns and they're only like 3 hours and no one plays them and everyone buys the game for the multiplayer, like Call of Duty. I don't think I've really met anyone who actually plays the campaign more than once. Maybe they play it twice because they're playing it on a different difficulty level, and that's just to get the achievements. Yeah. So what I really think what they're doing in those situations is they're putting aside money, they're putting aside time that they could be using to improve their multiplayer version, and they're throwing it away at a part of a game that really doesn't have any good game, doesn't add to the game at all. That's my take. Where I see this game going is I really see it not necessarily, you know, drastically changing. I don't expect this to change the face of games forever, but I definitely think this is going to influence the game market. It's going to, and actually getting to how it's going to be paid for, I really hope it's pay like a one-time fee and then play for life. I really hope it doesn't turn into the really, really annoying, even more annoying than subscription is like pay to win, kind of like Lord of the Rings Online. I hate that so much because you have all the free players saying, you know what, I don't want to pay a lot of money, but I want to play this game, it's fantastic, and they don't, while you get the game, you get all these guys who can, say you buy the Moria expansion in Lord of the Rings Online, and then you get, you know, they have their special horses, and then they have all of the stuff they've looted from Moria, and it's just so much better than the stuff you have. It drives me insane. Yeah, it is so obnoxious. Well, enough about that. So yeah, I really hope that it is either free to play, which I don't think is going to happen. The game is too good. But I'm really hoping it's you know, pay me $60 now and you get to access the service forever. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So that's pretty much this game. It's my first look, my first impressions. overall, great game. While it's in beta, get it. It's a fantastic game. It's fantastic. Lots of playing. Lots of, it's awesome. Okay? Play it. If your computer can handle it, play it. And if your computer can't handle it, I hope that they make it so you can, because it's really awesome. You should play it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. If you have any comments on my show, please leave them below in the comment section. PM me if you want. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, Deager4, and to Cryon Studios. I'm sorry, Cryon Studio. I was corrected last time. It's Cryon Studio. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe.